Once more, with feeling.
with feeling.
Yay!
We've reached that time of year, that beloved, dreaded, sought after
Magical.
extravaganza known as State of the Whip. Dun dun dun! We're going to go over the rules of what counts as a whip. We're going to go over the things that we don't count as whips simply because it is amorphous and for us is like a side hustle sort of situation. And then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty and we'll do a tally and keep track of how many projects we've got on the go. First up, design projects don't count. These are things that get ripped back and forth, they get changed, they're in transition, and they require a lot of brain power. So we do not count them as a standard work in project progress simply because they are not a standard work in progress. They are
That's good
creations
because
of
I
our
didn't pull mine
mind.
out.
They are creations of our mind, and heavens only knows when we'll be done with them. The second thing we do not count our spinning.
Those are separate
Long-standing rule,
things, and
separate
also they're
things.
really hard to pull out. You
Not
know?
even
Can't really
nah,
unspin it.
we can't unspin it. It's hard to show progress versus not progress. And a spinning project is a spinning project. There's no ripping a spinning project. Once you've started it, that's what
No.
it's going to be. So we leave those out. So those are two categories of things we will not be talking about here. I know I have personally in the background been, as I prepared for this, looking at projects and pulling needles out of things like crazy and going, nope, I'm not talking about it, and reclaiming stuff for the stash. So I don't know how Diana's been doing, but I have been cathartically cleaning off needles for 2025 this last week or so.
Well, I found as I was gathering everything, I found a couple of interesting categories. One category being things that I added to the rip pile quietly in the background over the last few months and still haven't ripped out yet. And
Oh,
I don't think you
cool.
guys know that they got added to the rip pile. So I should probably
Uh,
mention that
you're gonna, those might have to count because they're still technically on the needles. So until they're off
until
the
the needles come out.
needles, but they're still a committed project. Guys, I just removed my tea
Okay.
bag. The secrets of
So there's that
recording.
category.
Because it's still a whip. Once the needles are out, I don't think it counts.
The other interesting category that I've never had before is things that I planned out, wound yarn, swatched for, but never actually cast on. There's enough to make a whole category.
Now, here's the caveat for that. Do you plan to cast them on?
I haven't decided. I think I'm going to decide as I talk about them,
Okay.
whether they're going to get casted on or whether the yarn can go back in stash.
Because if we're honest, you're more of a, once you've decided on something, you're committed. That's what you're going to make with that yarn. I'm more of a hippie, pot smoking, free-willing, free love kind of situation when it comes to my projects. I will rip projects, return yarn to the pile, and make something completely different later on. Like I don't know if I'm commitment adverse when it comes to knitting projects. But you've seen me, I will uncommit from a three-quarter finished project and change my mind.
This is true.
So I
You
don't
will uncommit from a fully finished project and change your mind.
I have, in fact, just recently uncommitted from two fully finished projects, and I'm ripping them as we speak and changed my
There
mind.
we go.
So, like, if that is what it is going to be, and you have swatched and you've found the yarn, and these are the biggest hurdles for you, I say they count. But if you look at it as we're talking about it and you're hesitant, then I don't think it should count, and you should put that yarn back in the stash. Is that fair?
Okay. I think that works.
Okay. Let's open up our phones, start a tally because we need a tally. And we're both immediately going to put one in there.
I'm going to do this on paper right in front of my face so I can't
I
lose it
I'm
or be
gonna
distracted.
I'm gonna do it on my phone on the calculator because I quite frankly that's not a I paper and pens. And I'm gonna say immediately we're counting one project and we're not talking about it any more than that because it is this week's current Whip It or Rip It project, which means we cannot show each other our progress, for it is not Sunday.
This is true.
But it is a project on the needles. This week specifically, when we're recording, we're racing to complete a pair of Point Edwards fingerless mittens. Diana had a mitten and a bit to go, and I had two full mittens to make. Yeah, because you were on the top ribbing of your first mitten, so you had like the thumb and a
Yeah.
couple inches left. So yeah, you had a mitten in a bit,
Yeah.
and I had two full mittens. So we cannot talk about where we are in those projects at now, but they are a whip, so they do belong here. So one,
One.
done. Diana's number two exists in my office. The Mohair Reno medley.
Yep.
Yep. So
Okay,
Diana's up to two.
there's a two.
There's a two for Diana, which technically means I guess I'm going first.
Go for it.
I'm going to assume that because I didn't work on it and you didn't work on it, no progress has been made on the Moherino medley. To be honest, I forgot it was here most of the year.
I have remembered about it a couple of times and went, oh yeah, well, I don't have access to that, so maybe I'll take it back with me.
Probably because
Excuse
it
me.
doesn't look like I'm picking it up anytime soon. I'm gonna start with the big things. Why? Because they're right behind me on the floor in the chair, and I am so afraid I'm gonna knock over. Let's talk blankets. Let's just get it out of the way. We're doing the blankets first. Oh my God, these are big bags. They're big projects. Which one's this one? This is my project, the second. Oh, it's Asa's Blanket. We have some test squares for the lace pattern. Look at that lace pattern.
It's lovely.
Freaking cute is that? And we got a couple of little sample squares for the other squares. Somewhere in here, probably way down at the bottom so I don't lose them. In fact, way down at the bottom so I don't lose them. Ooh, we got another lace square. God, this is so cute. Just so pretty. Okay.
Yeah, you should finish Aas's blanket.
It's a lot of squares, and we did a lot of discussing dimensions and big squares versus little squares, like were they going to be all this big, or were they going to be this big, and then the solid squares would be smaller, how we were going to connect them, how we wanted the bubbles to go. So like there was a lot of design discussion going on this year. So now that I have a planogram, that took longer than it is, I can get started on this. On the bright side is I really like that lace crochet pattern. I still remember it, so shouldn't be a problem. This is sort of brings a little. It's all brings a little in here. Oh, it feels good to make some space around here. But that is my second. That is my second project. So I will put in a one and get ready to add up to three. Your turn.
Okay.
Ooh, mint tea.
Well, shall I start with the category of things that I sneaky added to the rip pile but haven't actually ripped yet?
Probably, especially if you are not 100% committed and willing to take the needles out and start ripping right now, I'm gonna say you have not decided yet.
Okay, well, let's see. Oh no, I think I talked about this one. This was my failed attempt at the hooded cowl for my mom.
Yes,
Um,
I think
the
that
hook is
you're
out
gonna
of it.
rip. That you're
It
gonna rip.
is ripped. Yeah, the
Yeah.
hook's out and everything. I just haven't
So
got there
like
yet.
I wouldn't rip
Does
that.
that
No,
count?
I wouldn't count that because you are going to rip. You can't complete the project.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep a rips tally too. So there's one for the rips tally.
Okay. I'm
Another one
so
that I think
glad.
got ever so briefly mentioned on the podcast the other day
Ooh.
was remember how I was gonna crochet some pants?
Oh God, yes. You were all about pants for like
I
months.
was
You were
all
like,
about pants
I'm
for a
gonna
little
make
while.
pants. I'm like, are you sure?
Evidently not, because I haven't touched them in ages, so these are getting ripped.
Okay. See again, that
Look,
one
the
I
hook's out.
listen, crochet hook out. Come on now. You could use one crochet hook for six different projects. That doesn't count. But yeah, if you're gonna rip, I think the pants you'll probably rip because you were that was
Yeah,
a
I'm ripping
flash in the
that.
pan interest, and then you were gone again.
I was very into it for a little while,
Yeah.
and I just didn't. So that's gone. In that vein,
The other pair of
sorry about the
pants?
crinkly bag. That other pair of pants. So
Pants?
hello, crochet hook.
Okay, well, keep the crochet hook. Hey, you're up to three
Um,
rips. Are you gonna finish those?
yeah,
Like
these
you're on
fancy
legs.
ones. I might try to make these again one day, but apparently I was just not in the headspace to be able to properly read the pattern because every time I picked these up to work on them, I
You
ended
do it
up
wrong.
having to like rip just as much as I worked on because I did the row wrong and like lost a bunch of stitches.
Okay. Which case, yeah,
Um,
I'd say rip for now, claim the yarn for something else, and then when you're ready, those will be the pants to try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, crinkle, crinkle. No, wait, I'm not keeping up with my tally. That's a third rip.
Three whip, three rips. Wow, this is going to be problematic for me.
And then this one, which I sneaky added to the pile, and I don't think I ever mentioned to anybody.
Sneaky adds to pile.
I sneaky added to the pile, fiber in my mouth, the cabled vest.
My God, you've been dragging on that you were going to finish that forever.
I know. I've come to the conclusion, A, I'm like kind of certain I don't have enough yarn. Like it would be really close yarn chicken.
Okay.
And that's a lot of work to get to the end and be out of yarn.
Yes.
And it's like indie dyed yarn, so I can't get more of the same lot or anything.
No,
I'd have to do some weird color blocking, which I don't want to do. That's not really my vibe.
no, it's not your vibe.
The other thing is I don't know when I would wear a purple sweater vest.
So happy you're ripping that. You have no idea. You have no idea.
So, absolutely nothing wrong with the pattern, nothing wrong with the yarn, aside from I think I don't have enough.
Yep.
Um, I am
You're
a
not
little
a
bit
sweater vest
sad that I
person.
have an entire back panel that I have to rip out now.
But you're not a sweater vest person.
Well, that's because I don't have any sweater vests. I honestly might try this pattern again
Okay.
at some point
With more yarn.
with like a brown or something, like something more neutral.
Okay, that's fair. There is that crochet. There's those lovely crocheted ones that Asa sent me. One's buttoned and one's not buttoned. And I keep thinking I've got some gray DK Briggs and Little. I should try to make it one
Ooh.
of those because I think that'd be quite lovely. And
Ooh,
since it's not sitting
don't
next to
drop
my
those.
skin, it doesn't matter that the DK's got a bit of tooth to it. Because let's be honest, the girls are a little sensitive as far as skin goes. They actually
There we
have
go. Needles out.
preferences. Needles are
Needles out.
out?
They are ripped.
Okay, then you're
Needles are out.
committed.
I'm
Because
committed.
you're
I'm going to
committed.
keep this all contained in this bag right
Oh,
now.
that's totally fair. That's a
But
rip.
that is a fourth rip.
Okay. To be fair, guys,
There we
when I
go.
say I ripped things, I've already ripped them. The yarn has been reclaimed and it is back in the stash. There is nothing to show you, for it has already been done.
Yeah, my whole it's a whole whip to just rip out all of the projects because I still have a small number of projects that I haven't ripped out from the last time that we did this,
Mhm.
which may well be last year. I can't remember.
Possible. You are
It's
you are
entirely possible.
you don't commit
In my
as fast as I
defense,
do.
some of it's color work and that's a pain to rip, and I just haven't like the needles are out. I'm committed to ripping it.
I feel
I
like we
just
need to have a
haven't done it.
Patreon or a Twitch co-working stream where
Sit
I
with me while I rip
babysit you
everything.
while you rip things.
Yeah, right? All right. I just ripped a bunch of stuff. It's your turn.
All right. Another blanket. Yeah, blankets. Which one's this one? Oh my God. My sister's freaking Christmas present from last year. This stupid. It's not stupid. I love her, but she wants something in black. This stupid black blanket. Urgh. I
Mm-hmm.
have the black yarn because I got held up because I ran out of yarn, right? I have more black yarn. I have the point right where the old row ends, right here. I've got the blue strips already done. I'm just doing the black section on repeat. This is the annual Christmas blanket by Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. So I just need to do the black part, right? Yes. What I have there is black yarn. So I just need to do it. I've been putting it off because I gotta hate working in black crochet yarn. I like knitting in black. I'm not a fan of crocheting in black. I think it's
I
because
did
knitting
wonder about
knitting in
that
black.
when you
Well,
started that project.
she wanted black and she is allowed to ask. And I said, God only knows how long it'll take me. And her response was, it's black. It takes you as long as it takes you. It's fine. She's like, that's a hard color to work in. She's not wrong. I knit in black fine because I don't look at what I'm doing anyway. For this fancy textured crochet, I got to look at what I'm doing, which makes it a bit harder. I've enjoyed the challenge. I want to be done, and the rows are so long. Maybe I work on this tomorrow because tomorrow, from our perspective, is the Patreon e-knit in for the month. I'm sure you guys ad nauseum have heard me talk about the Patreons. But once a month, Patreons at second tier and up sit down and we have an afternoon crafting. So like maybe I work on this tomorrow just to freaking get some progress done. I'd like to finish it and get it the heck off my plate and reclaim that bag. So I'm up to that was my third. Yeah, that's my third.
I don't know. You're on your own for your tallies.
Well, I have two blankets and a pair of mittens, so I'm up to three. Do you
I
have
have split a
other things?
stitch.
Everybody on Discord's getting excited about the Christmas question. I suspect everyone's still getting them wrong.
Let's see. Do we want the category of things that I planned and swatched and never started?
Sure. I think this is one of those ones where you need to make the decision. Does it go on the needle and count as a whip, or is it go back to stash and it doesn't get started?
Okay. So this
Now I want to make a sweater
was going
vest.
to be a blanket.
Thanks,
I
ma'am.
had sorted my minis into warms and colds.
Oh my God.
I sorted my minis into warms and colds, so I have
Okay.
like the cooler colors in here,
Mm-hmm.
and I have warmer colors in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't for the life of me remember the name of the pattern that I was going to do, but it involved striping warm and cold colors.
Okay.
It was some kind of scrappy blanket.
Yeah. Well, it's using scraps, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a scrappy striped blanket.
Yep. I think this one was knit.
Probably. You're asking me to
Hmm.
recall, and you have done a lot of blankets this year for you.
This has, yeah.
Mm.
I, so I don't know. As I'm talking about it, I'm like, ooh, yes, knitted blanket with stripes. So I think this is gonna get cast on.
Okay. Which means it would
I
count
just
as a
have to
whip.
remember what the blanket pattern was. I can see the photo, like the first photo of the pattern in my mind.
You do realize, like, the moment this is released, if you still haven't, the internet will answer for you. The internet
Yeah.
knows all.
I
Guys,
think it
what
involved
project
slip
did Diana pick?
stitches, and it was by like a well-known designer too, I think.
Wrong human to
Anyway,
ask.
yeah. Next time we take a break, I will try to look it up, but I
Okay.
think we're gonna count this as a whip.
Okay. Because you want it.
I want it. We're gonna
Okay.
count it as a whip.
Whip. All right. Then it counts as a whip.
Okay, it's going in the whip pile, which is gonna go over here in the whip pile that I've talked about.
Oh, good. See, we're making decisions. We're very excited about this.
Should we alternate or should I keep going?
We can alternate. I'll go for another one because that's your third,
Okay.
right? Yes.
Yes, that is my third whip after four rips.
The final blanket in my
The
super
final blanket. Sorry.
in my super smexy Omomo Japan store reusable bag because it is a kitten with a yarn ball. Like, look at that. How could that not be a knitting project bag?
That is adorable. How is that not a, how is that not what it was sold for?
It was not what it was sold for. It came home full of coffee milks and things. And my God, I'd like to go back there and waste, it's not waste, and spend what it seems like a large amount of money to me, so like 40 to 60 bucks, and stock up on coffee milks and milk teas and sushi rice and fun little plastic containers that are niche and perfect for corner situations and small things for people who only want to make something for one or two people because they don't want to have a family-sized amount of stuff. Like I pulled my toaster oven down because my toaster broke. So like now I want to go get all the little bakeware, small little tiny bakeware stuff to bake in a toaster oven to make one or
That'd
two
be so
cupcakes.
cute.
So like, God, I wish we had time while you were here to go to Omomo because I think we would have fun.
I might on my second week.
So much. Well, yeah, because everybody goes back to work. We should try to plan a mall day. So we go get coffees, we get chocolate, and we go to Omomo, Japan. We
I
can
like this
leave
plan.
we can leave the boys at the daycare. Look, I
Okay.
have minis. I have Advent minis. Look at all these Advent minis. Look at all these Advent minis. This is this
What are
year's
the
Advent
advent
minis.
what are they beginning
How's that English going for you?
Ah,
Have you had coffee?
I'm drinking coffee.
I am making small granny squares. This is last year's Advent, and I have both advents in here. Obviously, this year is only up till the day when we were recording, but this I got last year's in here, and I have discovered if I hold the yarn double, this is to corral the minis, guys. I have them on a otherwise there'd be freaking minis everywhere. Make small little solid squared minis. I'm gonna try to hold this up at the camera here for everyone. Small solid granny square, not very big, very cutesy. I need 70 billion. Remember, this is me. We don't count till we're halfway through, or I would never start these projects. I'm
Hmm.
going to do all of last year's, finish last year's advent, do all of this year's advent. This is fingering held double on a 5 millimeter hook, I believe. 5 or 4. I'll know as soon as I start making it because I'll be able to feel from the texture, right? Just a couple of rounds. And then I'm going to have a whole bunch of these held together on cords with color groupings. And I'm going to start to assemble it. And this is the first project for the Granny Square Challenge next year. So, everyone who remembers, or if you're watching this after January the 1st, I am doing a Granny Square challenge with Louise this year, and we are making, well, Louise is learning to make granny squares. I know how to make granny squares. I know I've done the 365-day challenge, Granny Square challenge. Look, here's one that's not on a cord yet. So, I'm going to use the daily making squares challenge, and I'm going to do a timed version. So, I'm going to figure out how long it takes me to crochet 20 grams of fingering weight yarn held double. And I will do that every day till I make some blankets. So next year should be a big blanket year because I'm committing probably to like, I'm counting from a winding to finished. So probably 40 minutes a day. And that's doable in my
Okay.
schedule. I wake up early enough, I've got an hour. But I don't just have advents in here. I've also been setting aside Erin's scrap yarn. So things that I know that are Erin's scrap yarn, mostly because Erin's been over and she's been like, hey, that's my stuff. And I've thrown it in the bag, right? To keep this organized-ish.
Organized-ish.
Ish.
We
And I
like
want a
ish.
I want a king size blanket. So like we're talking a behemoth here. So it's gonna take more than the
That's
advents.
gonna be a
However,
lot.
however, step one is to make 70 million small squares. Once we get to the point where I'm feeling comfortable enough we can start to connect the squares, I will figure out how I'm connecting the squares. And then I'll start alternating. I'll do a make squares day, attach squares day, and I'll start to put them together. I'm leaning towards slip stitching them together in a very obvious sort of window. Uh, so lead glass, right? And you get
Yeah.
the colored squares, and you get that thin bead of lead. I
Yeah.
am leaning towards getting a metric ton of gray, like a nice kind of
Sort of like
like,
a stained glass effect.
yeah, for a stained glass color block effect. And
Okay.
then fade out from one advent color into scraps and then fade into the other advent calendar at the top
Okay.
corner. That's sort of where I'm leaning with this one, but this is a planned project for next year. So I'm not blankets, whatever reason I have like 50 million blankets on the go and they don't stress me out. So there we go. That is the last of the big bags on the floor. It's not the last of the blankets, but it's the last of the big bags on the floor, and that's my third project. That's 3 blankets and mitts. That's my fourth project.
I gotta get these closer. Ugh. I'll put them way over here. Continuing in the theme of things that I started, or well, no, didn't start, that I planned and swatched and didn't start. This was gonna be an Elsa sweater, maybe. I even swatched for it.
Oh, yes, it was. That's that.
Hello, Sunshine. You're a paid actor today. Um, so like I'm unconvinced. I think maybe I still want it, but I'm unconvinced.
Okay.
So for now, I'm gonna stick it back in the yarn pile.
Okay. Is it my yeah, my need to rip my Elsa sweater haunting you?
No, I don't know. I'm not like it's the feeling I have towards it is like, oh yeah, I could do that.
Mm.
As opposed to I absolutely must do that right now. I'm so into this.
I like the
It's
Elsa
it's like a
sweater.
3 out of 5 need rather than a 5 out of 5 need, and I'm trying to keep things down to like a 4 and 5 out of 5 need to work on,
That's fair.
because then things actually get done.
Yes. I'm thinking I need to do the Elsa in a DK weight yarn. I wasn't likely to wear
Mm.
the worsted very often, but the DK one I might, so I might fiddle with gauge before I pick that project back up again because I quite like the sweater, so totally fair.
Gotta
All
figure out
right.
something to do with all these swatches. Throw that away. Anyway, that can go. That'll go back in the stash, and I will count that as a rip.
Okay.
Hmm.
We have one more blanket, but it's not in a big project bag. Nor am I stressing its accomplishments or completions like all of my blanket projects. I don't, it doesn't seem to bother me if they take years to make. This week, I picked this up.
Is
That's
Shriek
Shweek. I'm sure that's excellent English. Remember how I made a scrappy
fantastic?
corner to corner? And I was like, whatever, I really need to use up the last of my worsted weight acrylic scraps, so I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm not planning it. I'm just
Mm.
grabbing a ball and going. So I
Hmm.
made a bit of progress this week. I did this blue color, but this bad boy is happening, and there's nothing fancy. I'm literally going to make it till it's a giant enough rectangle that it when I lay it on the bed, it's half of my bed, and then I will shrink it. So I'm just making a ginormous, scrappy corner to corner striped blanket.
Nice.
No rhyme, no reason, no thinking, pure chaos. Pure chaos. That's what we're going for.
Bring on the chaos.
Bring on the chaos. So, I have no idea. I don't know when it'll be done. It's not, it's not what I'm concerned about right now. What I'm concerned about right now is making sure that my loop is really big so that I don't lose any more stitches. And we'll go from there. So that is project number 5 for me. 4 blankets and a
Okay.
pair of mitts.
More things that I started but didn't actually start, you know?
Good news is I'm done with blankets now. We can talk about other things
Put
now.
those needles over there.
Yeesh.
Remember the anemone sweater? And I swatched
Yeah.
so extensively in all these different colors of mohair
Mm-hmm.
to determine what I liked best.
Mm-hmm. I did one swatch in fingering weight and it said, cool, if you ever cast it on, I'm just going to grab some fingering weight yarn and away we go.
Yeah, and I never cast it on.
Hmm.
So I think I still want it.
I like the idea of putting it over a tank top, you know?
I don't know, maybe it's these colors? I don't know. There's something about it where I'm like, meh,
It's probably a colors.
might be a colors thing.
It might be a colors thing. Because I'm thinking, nice, just grab 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn because it's quite big, it's quite drapey. I don't need to have
So I
full
like the idea of the
sleeves.
sweater, but I think it's maybe this particular combination of colors that I'm not so into.
That's fair. I like the
Because I don't
drape.
really
I
have any
like,
green in my wardrobe.
you don't, not
There's
really,
probably
no.
a reason for that.
It's not a color you gravitate towards.
Hmm. Well, let's call this a rip then, because
Okay.
I'm unenthused about it.
Okay, it's a rip then. And I will
It's a
continue
rip.
to wait because I know you'll find the right colors right day. See, like I'm going to use fingering weight skeins of yarn.
Feeling so good. That's rip number 6.
It is.
I'm sitting at 3 whips right now.
Good. I'm sitting at 5.
And one of those 3 is a Christmas present that I better be done by the time this video goes out.
If not, we're going to watch you rip it
Well, it's either
and
going to
start
be,
again.
if it's not a finish, it's going to be a rip. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Don't have
so
any
either way,
option.
it's off the whip list.
Off the whip list. All right. We have the first sock. Why? Because it's just the next thing I grabbed. Ta-da! We have a peppermint snap sock. This is some gorgeous yarn from Ginger Snap That. I'm at the ribbing on the first sock. Spoiler for when we record in a couple of days. Uh, I'm currently almost finished a sock, and that only took a month and a bit. So for me, that's pretty darn fast for a sock. A singular sock has been known to take me 6 months, guys. So that is my project number 5. I'm not ripping it. I am very happy with my sock progress. I know socks take me forever and a hot minute. So
That's
that's my project
fine.
number 6.
Okay. Still in the planned but unstarted.
Okay.
The seasonal knit-along.
Hmm.
And yet another reason why we're not going to do the seasonal knit-alongs anymore.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's wound. It's swatched.
Yeah.
Never started it. This is supposed to be the single malt sweater.
But do you want it? Because you've had the single malt sweater as your to make for a very long time.
I do. I
Yeah.
just, I think it's been not a priority knit.
Yeah. Well, I think you have been a not priority knit.
Because right now it's all about the Christmas presents, and then earlier in the year it was all about the sweater design, and at some point something else became more important, and it was
Hmm.
just never the important thing.
Yeah. Whereas, like, that is the color from the.
It's glowing. But yeah, it's very much my color. It matches
Yeah.
my head. This is my color. And I do want a glorious textured sweater, and I definitely have enough yarn because I bought enough to make like potentially a crochet sweater.
I think it's because it's the single malt and you've been drooling over the single malt literally for years. I think it's
I'm
a
gonna keep
cast
this in
on.
the whip pile. I'm gonna
I
keep it
think
in the
it's a
whip
cast
pile.
on. Yeah. I think it's just a matter of you saying you're worth the time and casting it on and starting something for yourself.
Just thought of another project. It's sitting right there in front of me. Okay.
That is a
It's on the
danger.
pile down there, so I'm like, I'm good.
I
No,
took
no,
two
there's two more
days to
things up there.
corral. 2 days to corral all of my stuff.
I have a limited number of places I keep my things, which is fortunate. Unfortunately, I'm still missing one. I'm hoping I find it hiding in a bag with something else while we do this, but I'm
Okay.
missing one thing.
Okay. Well then.
Anyway, this is going to continue to be a whip
Excellent.
as soon
Eh,
as I find the rest of the balls and put them in a project bag. I didn't wind all of the balls, I know that. But I'm sure I wound more than one. I probably wound two.
must have. I have a project in timeout till I see a person to pick up some stitches. The linen top. The
Mm,
sleeves are picked up, but I dropped a stitch when I started doing my decreases for my yoke. And linen slips very easily, so we are very tightly wound. I am not unwinding this because I am only unwinding when either Erin or Diana is around in my vicinity next time and I remember I need stitches picked up. Because linen does not, it's not sticky like wool.
no.
And I do not want the stitches to drop any further. So it is just a dark enough color that I cannot see them well enough to pick them up. So we sit in a project bag and we wait because we are in the repair slash I need assistance pile. I mean, to be fair, it is the only thing in the I need assistance pile. So she's kind of lonely, but there she is. And that's where she's going to live till then. But no, it's one of those ones that once the stitches get picked up, I'm willing to put it in whip it or rip it because I want it finished, if that makes
Nice.
sense. So there
Yes.
you go. That is my project 7.
Okay, well, it'll be a race between me and Erin to see who gets there first to pick up stitches.
Well, between poor Mr. Tristan having a case of the tiny chicken plague and you being out of province, it's 50-50 odds at this point.
I will be in province shortly.
You will. All right, you're up. I'm down to one large Walmart tote. That's right, I crammed everything in a Walmart tote. I wasn't born
Oh,
yesterday.
I've got one more planned but not started.
Okay.
It's a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
That hooded cowl from my mom is sitting here staring me down. Still
Mm-hmm.
not started.
Mm-hmm. But you got to do it.
It's gonna, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So that's gonna continue to be a whip,
Mm-hmm.
bringing me up to 5 whips.
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk anymore about that one because I talk about it every week
Yes, fair.
on the podcast right now.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think we're all tired of hearing about it and would prefer that I actually, cast it on.
Yes. From the Project Big, we have a Stephen West. We have a very pretty Stephen West. Am I right side? No, this is right side. A very pretty Stephen West. Huh. I'm not pulling it all the way to the project bag. This is this year's Go Go Dynamo shawl.
It's been
This is
so
his
good.
MCal. It's so freaking pretty. Again, this is awaiting eyeballs, but not because I need assistance with the stitches. It's because I need the second ball of the sparkle, and it is too close for me to be able to tell the difference between that wound ball and the wound ball of red-breasted nuthatch. So it sits until again somebody is in my vicinity with better eyeballs to confirm that I'm going to connect the right freaking ball of yarn. Because I do not want to connect the wrong freaking ball of yarn, you know?
That would be no fun.
I have my second skein of Pinot Noir on the tweed base, on the tweed fingering base, which is my other color for this shawl. So we're sitting for entirely different reasons. It's because I need help making sure I've got the right bloody color going. I am not ripping that shawl. It's freaking pretty. I have read through the other sections because they're no longer MCALs anymore. And yeah, no, I'd rather be working on this than Christmas presents. So I feel strongly like that's going to happen probably once everything in the season's done and I can sit down and everyone's gone away again and it's just me and my leftovers, then I can just go to town. And I cannot wait for that point. Not that I don't want to see you, not that I don't want to visit, not that I don't want to spend time with you shopping and doing things. But there is
But
something about
also,
when you get home from vacation or when everyone's left post-holiday, that quiet time, I'm very much looking forward to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're into the things that
Hmm.
are actually whips.
Oh, exciting.
I'm gonna start with the thing on my desk so I don't forget about it.
Okay.
The meeting sock, what lives on my desk that I work on during meetings,
Yes.
which has been put aside in favor of Christmas presents the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is the second sock of the pair of vanilla socks out of the discontinued Sea Panda yarns.
Yep. Oh, she closed shop.
It glows in the sunlight and I love it.
That's such a freaking gorgeous color. So pretty.
So obviously not ripping that.
No,
Um,
no, no, no.
it's the meeting sock.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I mean, we're both sock knitters, but we're not like capital sock knitters.
Yeah, not capital S sock
We're
knitters.
not capital S sock knitters.
We knit
We
socks, we're
enjoy
not
them.
sock knitters.
Knitters, yeah. There's
So that
definitely a
brings me up
difference.
to 6 whips.
Oh, nice. Hang on, we're going to reverse the process. We're going to add up the tally and then talk about the project. We'll see if my brain works better with that. It's so big it doesn't even fit into its project bag. Remember this coffee bag? Remember this coffee bag? Coffee bag?
I remember the coffee bag.
Coffee
What's inside the coffee bag?
bag. That summer breeze
Oh,
crochet
goodness.
top that I've been trying to find the right yarn for the last little bit. And I've found the right yarn. It's some Briggs and Little DK in white.
Yay, white.
Yay, white. I love white. I wear white. I enjoy white. White isn't a problem for me. But I'm finally getting that stitch definition and strength that
Ooh.
I'm looking for. And like this is a baby. This is barely more than a swatch. It's a back panel. I've barely started. But I've got nice definition. I've got nice drape going on. Because when I scrunch up, we scrunch up nice and good.
So
So
squish.
this is what I've been looking for. So now again, I'm happy because now I have the right yarn for the project. And I love having the right yarn for the right project. So I need to continue work on this. It has been again set aside for all of the Christmas stuff I have to do. But like just look at what that's gonna do when I wash and block it. That is gonna be so nice to wear in the spring and summer. It's gonna be so breezy. It's gonna do exactly what it says on the tin. I'm very excited for that. So not ripping. Not rip. Mind you, it's also the only crochet garment so far.
Hmm.
Note I said so far.
So
I
far.
don't even entirely remember what's all in the bag I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, I've mostly ripped my crochet stuff so far.
I enjoy crochet garments a lot. Like a lot, a lot. But I tend to finish them quicker because they're crochet. Ooh, I'm awake, I swear.
That
Guys,
makes
no
sense.
caffeine. It's
All
hard.
right, I'm done with stuff on the desk
Okay,
and stuff in weird categories. I'm
excellent.
into my normal pile of whips.
We're on to the vanilla basics. Got it.
From the thumbnail, I apparently stopped in the middle of the row, which is why I'm holding it up so awkwardly. I also don't have needles on it right now,
Oh no.
which is also why I'm holding up very carefully so I
Okay.
don't accidentally pull the cord out. But this is the my sparkly Stephen West shawl. This is the twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to work on it. Oh wait, can I get it in the sunbeam? Where's the sunbeam? There we go. So sparkly.
So sparkly.
I do want to work on it. I just don't have time right now with Christmas stuff, you know? But this was up for contention for a whip it or rip it the other week,
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I do still very much want to work on it.
Okay.
And the sparkles are bringing me joy.
Absolutely.
And so I will work on it and then probably give it away to my niece when I'm done because I don't think I'm ever going to wear a sparkly.
The only time I
It's
could see
sparkly
you
blues and
doing it
purples.
is like for a pride parade at some point.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
about
like
the
I'm
only
never gonna
time.
wear this, but like I really want to make it because it's so darn
Oh,
cheerful.
that's fine.
But my niece likes purples and sparkles, so this might be her shawl when we're done. Which will be hilarious because she's 9 and this shawl is gonna be like most of the size of her.
She'll grow into it. Her dad's tall.
Yeah.
We can have faith. We can have faith.
So that's sticking in the whip pile.
Okay. Okay.
I have, in other great news,
Mm.
emptied this bag of everything else that was in it.
Ooh.
So, that's great for organization's sake. It now only has this one project, and I found my two ball cozies, the things that you put
Really?
around your balls to keep them organized. So I
Yes?
can put those on some projects now.
Oh, good. Good, 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 good. That's exciting.
I feel like I feel like there's a pair of the Christmas ones. I bought myself the dinosaur one, but Jen sent me this one, and I feel like there's a second one.
I think there's a second one somewhere.
I think there's a second one hiding in a project somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe we'll find it.
Maybe we'll find it.
Anyway, that is very much still a whip.
Okay.
Bring me up to a total of 7.
Ooh, I have reached double digits. Number 10.
Number 10. It's a good thing you pre-ripped. We'd be here forever.
We would be here forever. Look, it's a Woodwose.
A Woodwose.
It's like what I'm wearing, only in a different color.
I want to make one of those one day.
I really freaking enjoy this pattern. This is some I Am the Borg color yarn from Erin of Fireweed Fiber Co. This is the completed Grid Cardinal from Erin of Fireweed Fiber Co. I freaking love my Woodwell sweater. I love how it fits. I all of Tristan of Dragonhoard's design sweaters that I have made so far, I have loved the fit of, and they've looked really good on me. So I'm happy to make more. At the moment, we're just sitting where we are at the shoulders. I just haven't had time to work on it, which is disappointing. Like disappointing. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it, but I'm not ripping it because I want. I'm at the point where right now my brain's like, I want a Woodwose in like every color.
Hmm.
They're so like I can wear them for such a huge chunk of the year. Such a huge chunk of the year. They're so nice. I'm like, I need more. Okay, cool.
Oh, see, this feels very full, so I think there might be more than one project in here.
Okay. Maybe we'll
Oh,
find that
there's
missing
several
one.
things in here. Hang on. Hang on.
Hang on.
Okay, well, let's
Maybe
start
we'll
with the
find
top
that
thing
missing
and then I'll organize this while you talk.
one. Okay, that makes sense.
It's
How
a
can
blanket.
fewer projects? Which one's this one?
This is the granny stripe blanket that I'm doing out
Uh,
of
the
Fireweed
Advent.
Fiber Co.'s advent calendar from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
22, maybe?
Did you get last year's Advent? You didn't get this year's Advent.
I got
I think that's
fiber for this
22.
year's advent. I don't think I got last year's, so it was
That's
the year before
I
that.
think it's 22's because 22's I made into the Christmas Advent wrap that I designed.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Anyway, plugging away at this. I love it, and it's glorious, and that's going to keep happening. And
As
now
it
I'm going
should.
to dig in this bag because I think there's, hark, there's 2 more project bags in this bag.
Okay.
This might be my missing projects.
I'm going to move up to number 11 on the list,
I'm gonna mute
and
myself so I
I
don't crinkle.
will your crinkling isn't too bad. Zoom's pretty good at canceling that stuff out. I need straps. I need a bag handle. Bag handle. Ooh, hey. Hey, we got another sock. It's the bag of happiness. Look, bag of happiness. It's happy. We have a baby sock in here. I already know what's in here. These are my orange sherbet socks. Like how I color them. I choose the name of the sock is based on the color of the yarn. They're just my I make vanilla socks, guys. That's what I make. It's what I like to make. It's what makes me happy. That's what I do. So these are the yarn colorway is orange sherbet, I believe, or raspberry orange sherbet. Anyway, these are super bright and cheerful, and this is Air a Fireweed Fiber Co. But as you can tell, I've just got a, I got a baby sock I'm not done. Like I'm not even halfway up my foot yet. So these ones are a bit bigger than I usually make. They're for the days when my foot is swollen and is in its permacast. So I've got a very, very expensive, very good ankle cast for days when my ankle will not ankle. And but there are no socks in my collection that fit that particular size of foot because it does make your foot a bit bigger. So I'm specifically making these socks so that when I do have to wear the cast and walk around a little bit like Igor because there's no flexing on that bad boy, I can put my feet in socks should I want to. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Sometimes my toes are cold and sometimes they aren't. But I am not ripping it. This is also the second sock project, so I am happy with that. Number 11 is in the books. You're up, my dear. You have to
I
unmute.
found 3 project bags in that bag,
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna be
including the
clear.
thing that I couldn't find before. So I did
Oh, that's
successfully find the
good.
thing that I was thinking of that I couldn't find before. So let's start
Okay.
with that one.
Absolutely. Because now I'm like, what did
That's
you miss? By the way, I'm gonna heavily endorse this granny square coaster concept.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's just been perfect coasters.
Okay. Do you remember that denim cotton yarn that we got back in the summer that we were making the some simple summer sweater out of?
Yes.
Yes. And I got to t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Oops. I got to t-shirt
No sleeves.
and no sleeves.
Tank
And
top.
I did in fact wear it. I wove in all the ends and everything, so I did in fact wear it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just needed sleeves.
Uh-huh.
And I evidently stuffed it in the bottom of that bag and forgot about it. I
Okay.
didn't forget about it. I just didn't know where I'd put it. So
Mm.
I've been wanting to work on it,
You
and I
didn't know
just
where it
didn't know
was.
where it was.
Well, you found it.
I found it, and I still want to put sleeves on it, and it's still great, and I still want to have it. Although I think it might be a present for B when I'm done.
Okay. I mean, she'll also enjoy and wear it in Vegas, so I feel like that's fine.
But also, I might just make more of these because big needles, small yarn, go
It'll,
fast.
well, that and you can take some of those single skein socks and stripe them.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's drapey and it's lovely
Yeah.
and it's lovely.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Oh, look, I even put it in the DEF CON bag because I took it to DEF CON to work on.
Good.
Oh, look at me being organized. Anyway,
Just don't shove it
that's
back in another project bag.
no, I'm gonna leave it not in a project bag. It's going separately in its own pile. It's going on the stack.
Excellent.
So that's number 9.
Okay.
Oh no, my pen.
Do you want to finish that bag off and then I'll pick up?
Sure, the 3 things that I found.
Yeah, yeah. I'm mostly I
Okay.
want to see what it is that you shoved in that blanket project bag.
The other 2 are blankets.
Oh my God. Okay.
So my 10 stitch blanket that I was doing out of
Mm-hmm.
scraps, out of
Mm-hmm.
my worsted and DK scraps.
Yes. God, I love the 10
So
stitch
still like
blanket.
that, still gonna work on that. I
So
also just
cute.
like didn't remember where I put it,
Super cute.
and it's a scrap blanket, so
It
it's
needs
just
its own
gonna,
bag. It needs its own
yeah.
bag so you can put scraps in
Well, it
there.
has its own bag. It's gonna live in this bag until it's too big for this bag, and then I'll transfer it to
Excellent.
something bigger.
It also means you can stick
Because
your
of course it's another
singles.
security conference bag.
Of course it is. That's all you have.
Of course it is.
Um,
They give you bags at all these things, and they're perfect project bags.
See, I prefer knitting project bags designed for
Well, I
knitting
mean,
projects
yes,
because they're
but
better
like,
bags.
what else am I gonna do with this bag? Like, it's not big enough for a shopping bag.
You're asking the wrong human. I don't collect bags.
I don't set out to collect bags either. It's just part of the conference swag.
Uh, it's fine.
Anyway, they're great. They're like they're vaguely waterproof. Like stuff doesn't stick to the inside. They have drawstrings. They're great project
I
bags.
have CBC swag bags that I use as knitting project bags. That's about
Okay,
it.
that was number 10. Number 11, look, is even in a Christmas themed project bag. I might
What?
oust it from this bag so that I can put a Christmas project in it.
Sure.
This was my Oh, this is my jelly roll. There we go.
Oh my God, that's a old school project.
I only started it this year. It's only a this year project.
This year or last year?
No, it's this year because it was part of my many blanket starts on my bingo card.
Oh, okay.
It was only this year.
Feels like we've been talking about it forever.
Well, I haven't talked about it in a long time because it was stuffed at the bottom of a different bag and I didn't know where it was.
Fair, fair.
It makes sense that I put all of my project bags in one big bag, or like all the blanket projects in one big bag. It
Mm.
makes sense now. I just didn't remember that I did that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because you don't remember when you do that. I'm excited you found all of your blankets. Are you going to keep the jelly roll?
I think so. But
Okay.
now that I've found that other bag of all of my warm and cold minis,
Maybe not.
that is also a knitted one, which I still haven't remembered to look up the thing, what blanket pattern that was. Pearl Soho. It was a Pearl Soho
Okay.
blanket.
Okay. We're closer.
Yeah, we're closer. I will keep it for now.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will keep it for now because I feel like that other blanket might benefit from having full minis, and this one's really good for scraps.
Mm, it's true, it is. Okay.
I'm gonna keep it for now.
Okay. You're at 11. I'm at 11. Let me go up to 12 with a couple of pushes of a button. Let's fish another project out of the bag. I know what project's giving me grief, and I want to pull it out, but I also don't because it's currently strategically supporting the rest of the bag. Oh my God, this one's an oldie but a goodie. We're not ripping this one. It's so baby because I've crammed it all on a tiny, tiny, tiny cord. It's the start of my cape.
Oh my goodness.
Old, old,
That's from a while ago.
old. It's so tiny because it's so little. So little. I don't even remember. I can picture the pattern in my brain, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. Midnight something, maybe? Midnight Slayer?
That sounds right.
That could be right. But this is absolutely out of some pumpkin spice and Jocelyn colored yarns. We're not ripping that. We're not ripping that. Absolutely not. I'm gonna put that back on a 4 millimeter needle and we're gonna work on that. I am so excited for that. Okay, that was great.
Is that
That
a
was
contender for
stupendous.
Whip It or Rip It?
Probably not because I don't want to rip it. I am not comfortable with the idea of ripping that. I want to finish it and wear it next fall.
Okay.
It's a contender for a seasonal big bingo card, though. Square. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll
We're
see.
coming into the home stretch for me. We're
Okay.
into the bin. We're into
Ooh,
the bin.
we're into the bin.
We're into the bin. We're actually into the bin as opposed to everything that was scattered not in the bin because it didn't fit.
Okay. I feel like you may have oversold the size of this bin. I don't think it's that big.
It's not that big.
Okay. It's
That's why I'm saying we're in the home stretch.
a tiny bin. All right, what are we looking at?
This is the shawlography, which
Ooh,
I succeeded at in Whip It or Rip It last week before.
week before.
So I'm still semi-actively working on this. It
Hmm.
even has needles in it still.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
So mostly I just really don't want to work or rip out these I-cord loops.
I
This was
wouldn't
so much work.
I wouldn't want to either.
So much work. I don't
Having
want to do
said
that.
that, my God, it's pretty.
Yeah, and this was like section 7 of a maximum of 12, so like that's even coming into the home stretch.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So
Oh, so
this
good.
is still very much in progress, and
So
I still like it,
good.
and I still want it. And I will probably hang it up in my background to be art when it's done.
Fair.
Because I
I feel
don't
like
know
that's
that I would
fair.
ever wear something like this, but it
I feel
is
like that's fair.
art.
I feel like
I want
that's
people
fair.
to admire my art.
I mean, I do too, so.
So that is going to be whip number 12. Ha, you know how I wanted to be down to like five or six?
Uh-huh, I
I mean,
do.
okay, two of them are Christmas projects that will be done or given up on very shortly, and one of them is out of province right now.
All right.
That still only brings me down to nine.
Ooh, oh dear. Diana, this is Project 13.
Unlucky Project 13. Oh no, I pulled a needle out of something.
The bag's
There it
empty.
is.
This is the last project.
Last project. Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to
I'm out of
hurry and catch
projects.
up.
I'm out of projects.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll finish the show.
This is the Fiddly Bits cowl.
Oh yeah.
The Fiddly Bits cowl, which I've made some progress on. Goes bad boy. Uses scraps. This is inside out. It's a free pattern. It's a free pattern. I am using large volumes of scrap, and I am changing in inch increments that match the numbers to pi. It's too long. I'm not pulling it right side out anymore. It's getting too long to do that. I want like a super big art school teacher cowl, like the double, triple wrapped behemoth with the like you saw it on the art teacher and he wore it with the vest and the shirt underneath. And it was
Mm-hmm.
hip in the 80s and they still wore it in the 90s when it wasn't hip anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want one of those. Absolutely ridiculous over the top cowl things. So that's what I'm working on. It lives in a project bag Diana bought me in some cats. Cat
Cats.
bag, which is just chock full of yarn I'm still working through. It uses up scraps, and I'm quite comfortable putting this on a whip it or rip it, so I'm quite happy with that. That's it. I'm out of whips.
All right, well, let me whip through my whips then.
My final count is 13.
For my 13th, it's a toasted tank. It's a
Ooh.
mostly finished toasted tank. I have split for the arms, or for the armholes. This
Mm-hmm.
is a three-quarters done toasted tank,
It's good.
and I still want it. And it's a contender for future Whip It or Rip Its.
Fair.
So that's my Project 13.
Excellent. I'm excited. I want to see it done. It's gonna be so cute.
I think this is my favorite project bag because it's shiny.
Ah, that
Like
is
it's neutrally colored, but it's shiny.
a very serious contender for you, yeah.
This is the librarian, one of the sleeves,
Mm. Yeah.
and other of the sleeves. And there's a body in here. There's a body.
Yeah.
Mm. And there's a body.
Okay.
It's a cropped sweater. I swear this is a whole body. Oh, hey, look, a progress keeper. I should take that off the body and put that on one of the sleeves
Yeah.
because that's prettier. Hang on, let me do that.
Okay.
Uh,
Just,
uh, there we
just.
go. Anyway, that
Ah.
is still in progress, and I still want it,
Okay.
and still a contender for Whip It or Rip Its.
All right.
So that's number 14.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, oh,
I think I'm gonna put the fiddly
I have more
cowl
than I
in for
thought. I
voting
have
this
more than I
week.
thought. This is not
Oh,
good. Okay, this is the Shockwaves.
okay.
I still like it. I barely started it, and I'm gonna keep working on it.
Totally fair. Hey, listen, you're bringing that I-cord tool here for me to fiddle with?
Oh, am I?
Yes.
Okay.
And I may set aside yarn with some assistance to make my own shockwaves and use that tool to make all of that I-cord to start with.
It does make it a whole
A
lot
lot
easier.
faster.
Like,
Yeah. Because I-cord
yeah, I
on the
did that whole
side,
I-cord cast on in 20 minutes, like including picking up all the stitches.
like
It was nice.
I-cord on the
I mean, look
side,
at
no
the pretty,
problem.
all the pretty warm colors.
I-cord on the end, no problem. Not an issue for me. I-cord to start in a large number, I will not do it. I will not do it. But I do want to
Yeah,
try that tool and see if I can use it.
in probably my second favorite bag
Well, I guess that's true.
because it's not shiny.
It's not shiny. Yep. Oh yeah, it's so cute. Okay. And I also really like how big that shockwave shawl
Spinning
is.
project, got the spinning project, which just leaves this thing
So that was, wait,
in
what
this
are you up
carpety
to?
bag.
What are you up to?
That was just 15, so this is 16.
16? Okay.
Although this might be a rip.
Ooh, okay. I
Do
love
you
my
remember that
carpet
yarn
bag.
review that I absolutely dropped the
Never
ball on
published,
ever? Yeah,
ever. It annoys me that you haven't done it because we literally did that review over 8, 9, 10 months ago now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That one? Yeah, I remember.
yeah. I was making a top and
Hmm.
I'm not into it anymore.
Okay. Then rip it.
So, yeah, I don't know if I'll throw these. Apparently, they're not even attached to the thing. I'll throw these in the rip it pile. But then I have all this yarn left, which can go back in the yarn pile.
Sure can.
What are you? You're a receipt. You don't need to be in there. And hey, look, I got a bag back.
Okay.
Throw it in the bag pile. Ta-da! Okay, that was a rip.
Yes.
And then it's just spinning projects left in there, which we are not talking about.
We don't count.
So that's 15 whips and
Hmm.
7 rips for me.
Uh-huh.
And you got up to 13?
You have 22 things you need to deal with. And I got to 13.
Yeah, the rips are just,
Until you
they're in a
have to
nebulous
rip them.
category along with the repairs.
Yep, that's fair. Yeah, I'm at 13 whips. I did better at getting
Cool.
rid of whips this year than you did.
Yeah, I am much farther away from my goal of 5 to 6. And given that 3 of those, actually, no, I guess 4 of those are blankets,
You're gonna have to carve out some serious crafting time next year. Oh, jeez.
I gotta carve out some things. I gotta whip it or rip it on some things.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Blankets are
exciting.
never gonna be in a whip it or rip it, I don't think.
You would cry. You would
I
cry.
would cry if I had to rip out a
Cry.
blanket. Oh my
You would
God.
cry. All of the projects that weren't mentioned, I have pulled the needles out. I've reclaimed the yarn. I put it back in stash. I may or may not cast on the same project again later. I don't know. Right now,
15 active
no is
whips.
the answer. So if you
15
were thinking,
active
hey, Jocelyn,
whips.
what about that one thing? It's gone. It's gone. I am not going to be held beholden to my projects. If I want it, I'll work on it, and
15
if I don't,
things.
I'll rip it, and it's fine. Maybe I can get under 10 next year. That's only going down a negative of 3. That's doable. Try for single digits next year. I could do it. I could
I would
explode
very
and go
much
the
like
other
to be
way.
in single digits. This
I'm
is
really,
my goal for 2025 is to get down into single digit projects.
wasn't it your goal for 2024?
Yeah,
This
and I
is not
obviously
the time
failed.
for my logic. I got it. Okay.
It's going to continue being a goal. Yeah.
Okay.
I think several of these are like it's
I
planned but not started, so
I have fewer whips than you do.
how'd that happen?
I don't know. It's a project, it is a work in progress. If it's not on, even if it's not on the needles, but it's just waiting for you to put it on the needles. It's what you want. It's a work in progress.
For things that are actively on the needles and not Christmas presents,
Yes.
I think that almost gets me to single digits.
That puts me at 12. No, 11.
Anyway, I have hope. I have hope.
That's fair. Good news is that's it. We're done the state of the whip. We
Gosh,
have whip paraded for the year the things that we are unwilling to part with or still actively working on. I'm gonna go, we need to go craft hardcore. So I'm gonna say until next time you guys see us, I'm Jocelyn.
and I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to
Don't
craft.
forget to knit.